You know that feeling when you know you shouldn't do something, but you convince yourself it's fine? That was me last Friday night, standing in front of my cousin Eric's new house, a Victorian monstrosity straight out of a horror movie. He called it a fixer-upper. I called it a don't go in there you'll die kind of place. Eric, being Eric, had one goal for the evening: get me to help him clean out the basement. Why the basement? Because apparently the one place the sunlight actively avoids is the priority when renovating a haunted house. As soon as I walked in, I knew something was wrong. The air felt heavy, like the walls were holding their breath. The floorboards creaked underfoot, and the chandelier above swayed slightly, even though there was no breeze. This place has character, Eric said, grinning like a lunatic. Yeah, the kind of character that writes your obituary, I muttered. The basement door was in the kitchen, tucked behind an old fridge that looked like it hadn't worked since the Great Depression. The door itself was unassuming, except for one tiny detail: claw marks. Not scratches, actual gouges, like something with very sharp, very large claws tried to break out. Did you notice this? I asked. Oh, that? Probably raccoons, Eric said casually. Let's go. I wanted to leave. I wanted to fake an allergic reaction to old houses and just bolt. But Eric was already pulling open the door. The smell hit us first. Damp, moldy, and something else. Metallic, like pennies soaked in vinegar. The stairs groaned under our weight as we descended, the flashlight beam bouncing wildly. At the bottom, the basement was exactly what you'd expect. Damp walls, exposed pipes, and enough cobwebs to suggest the spiders were unionized. All right, Eric said, clapping his hands. Let's clear it out. We started with the boxes piled against the far wall. They were full of the usual junk: yellowed newspapers, broken tools, and a collection of dolls that looked like they cursed people in their spare time. That's when we heard it, a faint, rhythmic thump. Thump, thump coming from the far corner of the basement. What's that? I whispered, because of course I whispered. Eric shrugged. Probably the pipes. It was not the pipes. The thumping grew louder, more deliberate, until it stopped altogether. Then came the sound of something scraping against the concrete floor. My flashlight flickered, because they always flicker, and for a split second, I thought I saw movement, a shadow shifting where no shadow should be. Okay, funny joke, Eric, I said, backing up. You got me. Let's go upstairs now. I didn't do anything, Eric replied, his voice unsteady, and that's when we saw it. In the farthest corner of the basement, just beyond the reach of our flashlights, something crouched. At first, I thought it was a pile of rags. Then it moved. It unfolded slowly, unnaturally, like its joints didn't work the way they were supposed to. It stood up, tall, impossibly tall, its head nearly brushing the low ceiling. Its face, if you could call it a face, was wrong, just wrong. Empty, hollow sockets where eyes should have been. A mouth too wide, filled with jagged, uneven teeth, and it was smiling. Oh my God, Eric whispered. The thing took a step toward us, its bare feet slapping wetly against the concrete. I swear the air got colder with every step it took. Run! I shouted, grabbing Eric by the arm. We bolted up the stairs, slamming the basement door shut behind us. But the thing wasn't done. We heard it. Heavy footsteps on the stairs, the doorknob rattling violently. Does this door lock? I yelled. No, it's an antique, Eric screamed back. The rattling stopped. For a moment, everything was silent. Then came the voice. Low, guttural, and echoing in a way that didn't make sense. It whispered, "Why are you leaving? Don't you want to play?" That was it. I was done. I grabbed my car keys, dragged Eric out of the house, and didn't stop driving until we were at a diner 3 towns over. Eric eventually sold the house, which I think was the first smart thing he'd done in years. But here's the kicker. The new owners, they tore the place down and built a daycare. I still think about that thing in the basement sometimes. Who or what it was. But one thing's for sure, I'm never helping Eric with anything ever again.